You never truly quit Yu-Gi-Oh! True words said from Cimooo. Yu-Gi-Oh! Today is definitely not the same as I remembered it, but it is definitely one of those things that I just can't forget about. Back in 2012, Exceeds were the new thing at the time, and unfortunately that was also when I quit the scene, or took a long break. Fast forward to today, and I'm once again back interested in playing with children's cardboard. However, it's not going to be easy. I have about 8 years of catching up to do. And the goal for this series is to just see how far I can take each of the decks that I want to run. As for how I'm going to achieve that, I'm going to be following the sealed only method created by Nimnim, but with my own little twist on it. This will be a chronicle of my journey back to the game, inspired by Nimnim, Ruggles, and Rev's cards. So, can I actually take on this journey again? Well, let's find out. This is Revisiting Yu-Gi-Oh! A new sealed only journey. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of season 1. Today we are finishing the last of the testings of the 3 decks. The past 2 episodes we tested sample builds of Heroes and Dark Magician. Now we're going to test a sample build of Machina. Machina itself has sentimental value for me because it was the deck that I ran back in the day when I used to play in 2012. Although I didn't play a pure Machina build, mine was more of a anti-meta machine beatdown deck. But I'll go and show it to you guys soon in another episode. Only a few more episodes left for this prologue season, guys. Then we'll get into the actual sealed only portion in season 2. Now, while looking for some sample profiles, I saw that there are different ways to play Machina. There's either a pure version or mixed with another archetype. There's the scrap engine variant, and I've seen some with the trains and infinite tracks, and some other ones. But since I'm trying to just get a feel for the deck, I decided to just pick a pure build of it, and then after I get used to it, I'll start looking at the other different variants. I know Legendary Duelist Rage of Raw came out, and they got new Jinzo support cards, so that looks pretty cool. Maybe I can mix it together with this. Probably not, but we'll see. Alright, so in this sample build, the only cards I really recognize here are Gear Frame and Fortress. All of these other Machina cards are brand new to me, so I got a lot of reading to do. But yeah, let's get started. This will be the last time I will be testing against the AI bots in EDO Pro. I only wanted to duel these bots while testing these 3 decks, just simply because it's been 8 years since I've dueled, and so I didn't want to just jump straight into a real game and be completely lost and then stall my opponent because I have to read everything. However, after dueling them so far, even though it's pretty fun, the bots aren't really too difficult, and they use ban cards, so it's kind of not that fun. But the bots are a nice way to take my time and just get back into things again, so I can't wait to start dueling actual people in season 2 and lose a bunch at first. Alright, so let's get into the first round. I'm up against Blue Eyes Ritual, and on this first turn, I'm still learning this deck, so it's literally the first duel I played with this deck, and I did a couple of test hands beforehand, but this was the first duel actually, so excuse any misplays I did. So I start off with Machina Redeployment, I drop the trade in, and I grab a Fortress and another Metal Cruncher. I go into Metal Cruncher, and I get hit with an Imperm. So next I just go into Irradiator, I drop the Metal Cruncher, and I set a Machina Overdrive, and I pass with a very bad first turn board. So I'm expecting to get killed on this turn. He goes into an Upstart and goes into the Melody of Awakening Dragon, but I chain a Machina Overdrive to drop a Metal Cruncher at the cost of my Irradiator, and I activate Metal Cruncher's effect to grab a Citadel, and he sets 1 and passes. I got lucky that turn, I guess. So I go into a Machina Redeployment again, and I get a Mega Form and Possessed Storage, and I go straight into VFD with Fortress and Possessed Storage to revive Irradiator just to have a board, and I go in for an attack, and luckily that face down didn't do anything, so I just pass, and I tried to go for, I do go for VFD, but he gets to just activate in hand still, so that didn't do much of anything. And at this point he just does his shenanigans to go straight into Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon and goes for a creature swap on my Possessed Storage. but he is not allowed to attack because of VFD, so he just passes. On my turn, I go into Radiator's effect and bring out Megaform, and triggers my Citadel to bring that out. Then I hard tribute for Irradiator, and go straight into Draglubion with 2 level 8s, and use Draglubion to bring out Numeron Dragon, and thus I get a fat attack, and I use Citadel to pop all face-up monsters except Chaos Max is not affected, and I just go in for the kill with Numeron Dragon. Alright, so for game 2, he lets me go first for some reason, but he starts off with a banned card, Max C. I go straight into Pot of Desires, and I draw a Metal Cruncher and Gear Frame, but I lost. I didn't really lose much of anything. Yeah, I didn't really lose much of anything. The 2 possessed storage kind of hurts, but it's okay. But I go straight into Metal Cruncher, use Metal Cruncher's effect to grab a Citadel, and then I go straight into Irradiator to drop Megaform, and then Irradiator's second effect to bring back Megaform. Then I go into Megaform to bring in Metal Cruncher, and I go straight to VFD, and I use Machina redeployment to send Machina Overdrive to grab a Fortress and an Air Raider. And I go straight into Fortress, dropping the Citadel, because it's better to have Citadel in the graveyard. But now he has, at the cost of Max C, he has a full big hand full of good cards. So his turn, his draw phase, I tried to go into VFD, but I get hit with a fat imperm, so unfortunately it does not go through. Next he goes into an upstart, gives me 1,000, gives me another 1,000 for another upstart, goes into his same combo he did last round, and brings out another Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This time goes for the creature swap and successfully gets it because VFD is not affected right now, in effect, so he can attack, and I take a whopping 8,000 attack. But those 2 upstarts definitely saved me. I'm surviving off of those. So on my turn, I go for a Gear Frame and I grab a Irradiator. Then I use Irradiator to drop Citadel and go into Irradiator's second effect to bring back Megaform and trigger my Citadel to bring it out. Then I just simply attack my Fortress, which triggers Fortress's effect too, so I can pop his other card. But there's no way right now I could get over the Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, so on his turn I just use VFD and it goes through. Now he does his incantations again, goes for another creature swap, but this time I use Citadel's Raigeki effect to destroy both these incantations, so he has to it forces him to target his Blue Eyes Chaos Max and give it to me. And thus that looks like it's gonna be game. So I go straight into a Fortress for extra attack, switch VFD to attack, and just simply go for the kill with his own monster. And that is the game. Okay, so for game number 2, I'm up against Dragoonity. I am pretty familiar with this deck, at least the one this AI is playing, because back then Dragoonities were pretty prominent. People played them a lot. I went against them quite a bit. So in here at the start, I go first. I start off with an upstart, draw Gravedigger's Trap Hole, and I use Irradiator's effect to go summon itself, and I set Gravedigger's Trap Hole in urgent schedule and pass. This is not a really good at all first turn end board. So I give it to him in hopes that he doesn't do much of anything, but he goes into Dragon's Ravine and sends his Phalanx to the graveyard to get a Ducks and summon Ducks, which brings back the Phalanx and goes into the regular Dragoonity combo of recycling Phalanx, and brings out a Stardust Dragon. Tries to go for an Assault Beast to grab an Assault Mode activate, but I use Gravedigger's Trap Hole to negate it, and he takes 2,000 damage. So he just attacks with Stardust, and on end phase I use Urgent Schedule to bring out a Citadel and a Soldier, and then on my turn I go into Irradiator, send Megaform, bring back Megaform, but this was a dumb play by me. What I should have done was attack first with Citadel, and then Soldier, and then use Irradiator's effect on main phase 2. That way he won't have his Stardust, he can't negate it, and Stardust won't be coming back, and I'd still have another monster on the field. But, you know, that's a misplay by me. It's my fault. I wasn't thinking, but that's how we learn. So he gets to have a Stardust back, and then on his turn, he gives me 1000 for an upstart, then goes into Dragon's Ravine, and does the same exact recycle phalanx combo. Only this time he doesn't go into a Stardust Dragon, he goes into a Scrap Dragon and uses its effect to pop one of his cards and targets my Citadel and successfully pops it. Then attacks my soldier, but I get to bring back Citadel with its effect. And so he can't get over it with Stardust, so he switches it to defense and ends his turn. On my turn, I can't do much of anything either. I drew a Fortress, so I simply just attack Stardust and give it back to him. On his turn, he goes for an Assault Telly and draws 2 cards, plays Foolish Burial, sends a Phalanx, uses Scrap Dragon to send his Dragon's Ravine and my Citadel, but I chain with Citadel's Raigeki effect to send his Scrap Dragon as well. So we pretty much clear the field. He summons a Dukes, gets the Phalanx, does the combo again, only this time he's not going into Stardust or Scrap Dragon. Instead, he will be going into a Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing's a pretty good card. I was at a loss when I saw it, and I was like, oh, what do I do? I drew a Pot of Desires, I go for it and hope for the best. I draw Metal Cruncher and Machina Overdrive, so I simply just summon a special Fortress and set Overdrive. There was a reason why I did that, so you'll see it in this next turn. He sets 1, goes for an attack. I chain, or activate, I don't chain, I activate Machina Overdrive while he attacks, and I target my Fortress, and I get to summon Citadel. And since Fortress goes to the graveyard, he will trigger my other Citadel as well as Megaform. So I do Citadel first, and then I use Megaform as Chainlink 2, and in the hopes that he would negate it. And he did, so he negates on Chainlink 3, which will negate the Megaform. And then I can respawn in Chain 4 with Citadel's Raigeki effect. Thus, I can destroy his Crystal Wing without him negating it. And the only thing I lose is Megaform coming back, but I get to bring back my other Citadel. And so, on my turn, I draw Machina Redeployment, so all I need is pretty much one other card. So I use Machina Overdrive to recycle 3 of my monsters from the graveyard and draw 1 card. Then I can activate Machina Redeployment and send Metal Cruncher, and I grab a Possessed Storage Irradiator, and I just do the same combos. I go into Irradiator to bring back Possessed Storage, and then Possessed Storage to bring back Megaform, and trigger Citadel to come back. So I get my board set up, and I simply just attack for game. Alright, in game number 2, he goes first. He sets 1 card, activates Assault Telly, and draws 2 cards, activates Dragon's Ravine to send a card, and then he gets a Phalanx to go to the graveyard as well, and simply just passes with 2 cards face down in Dragon's Ravine. On my turn, I have Gravedigger's Shuffle in my hand. Unfortunately, that's usually not good, because then I can't bring out what's her name, Earthlesia. But since Dragoonity does stuff in graveyards, I think it's a good to have in hand. It's okay. So in this case, I go into Machina Redeployment, send Aerator to the graveyard, grab Irradiator and Megaform, and I summon Metal Cruncher to grab a Citadel. No, I'm sorry, it's Fortress, I'm sorry. And then I go into Irradiator plays to use its effect to bring back Megaform, then use Megaform to bring out another Metal Cruncher and go straight into VFD. Then I use Fortress. I bring out Fortress by discarding it and using its special effect. Then I set both cards in my hand, Urgent Schedule and Gravedigger's Trap Hole. I think this is an okay board to start off with. You got VFD, Fortress, Urgent Schedule, and Gravediggers. You know, it's pretty good. Pretty okay standard. Then I attack with Fortress, giving him 25k damage. 2500 damage, I'm sorry. And then he uses MST on draw phase on my Urgent Schedule. And I was okay with that because of the second effect where I can add a level 10 monster. And then I chain with VFD. And now I grab Citadel with Urgent Schedule's second effect. And on his turn, draws the Phalanx, goes into a Arma Mistletoe. I don't really know how to pronounce it, sorry. I can't do anything. It's VFD. So we simply just end. I go into Machina redeployment, send Citadel to the graveyard, grab Possessed Storage and Irradiator, and go into the plays. Bring back Possessed Storage to bring out a Gear Frame because Possessed Storage. I chose Gear Frame this time because Possessed Storage is level 4, and I still get my Citadel out. So now I can Xyz into Abyss Dweller. So I simply just attack with Machina Fortress, attack with Dweller, and attack with Citadel. I could attack with VFD, but I was scared of the face down. I didn't know it was in assault mode, so I just kept it there. And anyways, on next turn I activate VFD again, so he can't do much of anything. He draws a spell. All he can do is use Dragon's Ravine, gets a Dukes, summons it, can't do anything, so simply just passes. And on my turn, just go for the kill, and that's the game. Okay, so for the last game, I am going against Totally Awesome with Ice Barriers, and this was a pretty hard game. He just kept getting Totally Awesome on the field every time, and I had no way to get over it. And his defense, it was just purely like a pure defense deck and Totally Awesome. So you'll see it. He goes Totally Awesome on first turn, ends and plays Aquarium Stage, so I can't even attack it. Then he gets a Dupe Frog with Totally Awesome's effect, so now he gets, since he has this on the field, he gets to do his negate effect, and he has this in hand as well. So I bait it out with a Pot of Desires. I'll take -10 cards, no problem. He negates it, and now I can go into Machina Soldier to bring out Metal Cruncher, use Metal Cruncher to grab a Irradiator, use Irradiator to drop Megaform, and drop Citadel for Fortress. So all I can do is only attack this guy, and still can't even get destroyed. So I don't know. At this point I didn't know how to get over it, so we just go into Megaform and bring out Citadel, and use Megaform and Citadel to target my soldier to destroy. But I misplayed here. What I just should have done is targeted my Citadel, so it would have destroyed both monsters. But I targeted Soldier instead, and it'll only destroy Dupe Frog. So I get another Meta Cruncher out, and on main phase 2 I go into VFD, and I try and activate it, but it gets negated. I didn't know he would have this in hand, so I just went for it. And now he gets my VFD. Unfortunate. So now I go into the right play with Citadel and destroy his Totally Awesome. And he gets to bring out a Swamp Frog, uses Totally Awesome second effect to grab an Ice Bear in hand, summons Rodent Toad, gets a full board out, Totally Awesome again, and Cat Shark to power up his Totally Awesome. Unfortunate, 4400, all I'm left with is Machina Fortress. So he attacks it, I get to do my effect to pop the card, I pop the Aquarium Stage, and bring out Citadel, but he's able to negate it, so unfortunate there. It's another Totally Awesome. I draw a Machina Citadel, and for the next turns up to, so this turn 4, for the next turns up to turn 10, it's literally the same plays I'm going to be doing. I kept drawing cards that had enough level to bring out Fortress every time. So I would bring out Fortress, he would destroy it with attack with Totally Awesome, because he would eventually get 3 Cat Sharks out, and so it would keep the same exact play that just happened and keep attacking. I would try and destroy a card, and then I would try and activate Citadel to bring it out. He would negate it. It was just a cycle, and so we're back here again. The defense board, but I still have the higher attack monster, so I thought I could win still. But on his turn, he is able to grab another Ice Barrier, goes to another Rodent Toad, and summons Centauria, and that will be it for me on game 1. Unfortunate. So I'll take that loss. Okay. Alright, so for game number 2, I'm going first again, and I drew in not really good hand. So I start off with an Upstart Goblin and draw an Aerator. Go into Gear Frame 2, grab a Citadel, and all I do is Irradiator's effect to drop Citadel and set Gravediggers and Urgent Schedule, and I did end it with a pretty bad. First turn board, he goes Dark Hole. I get to bring back Citadel, thank you. Goes Swap Frog. Swap Frog goes Roaring Toad. I respond with Gravedigger's Trap Hole, so he takes 2k. But still gets to get his Roaring Toad out. He goes into Ice Spirit, then goes into Centauri again in defense mode and ends his turn. On end phase, activate Urgent Schedule to bring out a Machina Soldier and Irradiator. And then on my turn, I draw into Gear Frame, which is good. So I go into Gear Frame, use its effect to grab a Mega Form, then use Aerator's effect to ditch Mega Form and bring that out. And now I go into Draglubion and Abyss Dweller. And then Machina Citadel's Raigeki effect to pop the field. And I'm just going to end it right here with Numeron Dragon. So we take game 2, and now we're going to go to game 3. Alright, so here we are in game 3, the final round. He's going first. He will start off with a Swap Frog and go into Surface to bring back a Duke Frog and go into Totally Awesome first turn right away. Ends his turn. On my turn, we have a pretty okay hand so far. I'm going to try and bait Totally Awesome with a Gear Frame. So he gets a Duke Frog, so he can have his effect, and I go into a Gear Frame to bait the negate. Does it, great, takes my Gear Frame, no problem. Now I go into Machina Redeployment to throw away Soldier to grab a Metal Crunch and Irradiator. And what I should have done here is play Metal Crunch first, but I didn't. I went straight Fortress, so I just attacked. Cause I think I did that because I just wanted to get Totally Awesome off the field and I wasn't thinking. So I set a Machina Overdrive and passed. And on his turn, he goes into Galaxy Cyclone and destroy my Overdrive. Goes into Service to bring back Duke Frog. Goes into Swap Frog. Goes into Centauria, and we'll use its effect to pop my Fortress back to hand and get in an attack with my own Gear Frame. Then goes into Salvage to grab 2 Duke Frogs back to his hand. On my turn, now I go into Metal Crunch. Luckily, he doesn't have any negates, so we grab a Mega Form, and right here, with just these 2 cards and Metal Crunch, we have VFD already, so that's what I went for. And we use Irradiator to bring back Mega Form, which will trigger Citadel, and then Mega Form to bring out a Metal Crunch. And now I use Raigeki effect of Citadel to pop it, attack directly with both cards, and then on main phase 2 go into VFD. Activate VFD on his draw phase, and all he could do is set a card and pass. On my turn, we go into Irradiator and bring back Mega Form, trigger Citadel, and that's about it. We attack with Mega Form. It's a Grado Slime Jr., so he's saved for all three of his Grado Slime Juniors. So, in turn, do VFD one more time. Does card destruction. No problem. Gets his little ice barrier out. Goes into Centauria again. Can't attack because of VFD. So, on end phase, we just Citadel Raigeki. See you later. And that's it. Going for the kill. I went for the super kill. I went for Numeron Dragon again. Because I was getting kind of mad that I lost against this Totally Awesome deck on the first game. And yeah, that's about it. Alright, so my thoughts so far for this deck is that it's really fun. I missed this whole beatdown aspect of when I played it a long time ago. However, this might be due to me still not fully knowing what I'm doing with this deck, but my first turn boards were all pretty bad. Against the AI bot, it's fine because they don't really pop off and go crazy with full negates, but if it was a real human player, I probably most likely would have lost very easily. My end board should have been VFD and either Draglubion with Heart Earth Dragon if I'm going first, or Numeron Dragon if I'm going for the kill. Abyss Dweller would have been nice as an extra 2. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring those out every time, but other than that, the deck is really fun to play. I think I need to do some more testing though, and hopefully figure out how to start off with a good end board, but that's all part of the process of this whole journey back. So yeah, this is it for the first testing of sample decks for each of the 3 decks that I want to play, at least for this season anyway. There are only a few more episodes left for this Season 1 Prologue. I already have those planned out and we'll start filming them soon. We'll take a look at my past and reminisce on my old Yu-Gi-Oh collection. And then to finish off this prologue season, I bought half a case of Dual Overload, and we'll be opening that with a friend of mine to kickstart my actual sealed only journey in season 2. Stay tuned for those, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.